Now at 9, Freeman Health System announces a vaccine mandate for its employees.
The Thanksgiving turkey will cost more this year. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. The latest inflation numbers from the Labor Department, plus what President Biden says he's doing about it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Thunderstorms continue to work their way into the Joplin area tonight. We go straight to meteorologist Doug Heddy. Strong storms too, Doug, right?
Yeah, we've had a lot of strong storms and even a few severe thunderstorms as this line has worked through Kansas, Oklahoma, and then now pushing into southwestern parts of Missouri. But you can see this pretty intense line right along the state line of Kansas and Missouri, and a couple new severe thunderstorm warnings have popped up. But if we go ahead and we're going to zoom into the metro, so we're really looking from Neosho up to Pittsburgh, Miami, over toward Carthage, but you can see this severe thunderstorm warning. This is out until 9:45, so this includes Joplin, Carthage, Webb City, Carl Junction, up toward Asbury, Jasper County, and then just to the south of Lamar, as we are getting a little bit of bowing on the front edge of this storm. So what that means is the winds pick up just a little bit. So we're getting winds near 60 miles per hour. Not bad enough to really do much in the way of damage, and we have pretty small hail, probably penny-sized hail with this line as it moves through. So the most intense going right through Joplin, right into western parts of Newton County. We've had some wind gusts near Seneca and just to the west of Neosho, but this line will continue to drive toward the east as we go through the evening hours. Of course, I'm going to be back here in about 10 minutes. We'll break it all down for you.
Doug, thank you. Freeman Health System announced a vaccine mandate for its employees, citing a ruling from a government agency. KOAM's Chris Warner explains.
The mandate is a result of guidelines from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. In a news release, CMS says the Biden administration is requiring COVID vaccination of eligible staff at healthcare facilities that participate in Medicare and Medicaid programs. Freeman CEO Paula Baker says the health system did not have a mandate in place and had been leaving the decision to get vaccinated to its employees.
Freeman Health System previously had not mandated the vaccine for our employees because our employees were so proactive in taking the initiative to do that themselves. However, CMS has now issued a ruling that says we must mandate it. So that's why we're doing it, and that every employee will need to be vaccinated by January the 4th.
Baker says the ruling will affect healthcare facilities beyond just Freeman.
Since all healthcare facilities are going to be held to the same standard, if an employee wanted to remain in healthcare, they really wouldn't have an option to go other places because that'll be consistent. I think that employees understand that this is a federal ruling, and there is that option for the declination if they meet the criteria for a medical or religious exemption.
Last week, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley joined 38 of his Republican colleagues in formally moving to disapprove and nullify President Biden's vaccine mandate on private employers. In regards to that specific mandate, Senator Hawley called the president's vaccine mandate, quote, unconstitutional, saying that it infringed on the rights of American citizens. Senator Hawley said of the mandate, quote, it unlawfully bypasses established regulatory procedures. Congress, not the president, has the authority to make law. In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
In the regulation from CMS, healthcare workers have until December 6th to receive the first dose of the vaccine and until January 4th to be fully vaccinated. That brings us to tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll question. Tonight's question is, would you consider leaving your employer if they implemented a vaccine mandate? Please go ahead and vote over at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote, our website, or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we'll check in on them a bit later in this newscast. Doctors are prescribing the steroid dexamethasone to many patients with COVID-19, but a new UK study finds the drug could induce diabetes in some patients because it causes a spike in blood sugar levels. For patients already diagnosed with diabetes, the drug could make it worse even. UK researchers say the steroid does reduce the risk of death from COVID-19 and can still be beneficial for patients with diabetes if they're monitored for complications. Doctors could soon have a new tool to help stop the COVID-19 spread if Pfizer can win over skeptical federal regulators. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has more from New York.
Almost 70% of adults are at least partially vaccinated, and now the focus is turning to boosters. Pfizer is asking the FDA to amend its emergency use authorization so it can offer boosters to all Americans 18 and older. The company hoping to overcome lingering skepticism by some regulators about the need to expand access. More than 25 million booster shots have been administered so far. We're averaging 800,000 every day in the U.S., up 50% from last month.
The way you get a 100% decrease in the risk of hospitalization is to not get infected in the first place. Get your booster shot when it is your turn.
The feds are also focusing on getting kids to roll up their sleeves. The CDC says by the end of Wednesday, some 900,000 children ages 5 to 11 will have gotten their first shot, and demand remains high in most areas.
I'm hearing from parents who are breathing a sigh of relief that their younger children, ages 5 and up, are now able to be protected.
Meanwhile, opposition to vaccine mandates is intensifying. Several Republican governors say they're considering joining 11 other states in a lawsuit aimed at stopping a federal mandate from going into effect in January. While on the local level, public workers in most big cities are facing a choice: get the shot or get fired.
It's between your doctor and you.
Here in New York, officials say so far fewer than 1% of city workers have been punished for refusing to get their shots. David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Emptier shelves at the grocery store and long wait times for everyday items has more Americans concerned as they think of filling up the Thanksgiving Day table, putting presents under that Christmas tree. The White House now trying to calm fears even as prices continue to rise. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with more.
President Biden on the move, visiting the port of Baltimore Wednesday.
Even though wages are going up, we still face challenges and we have to tackle them. We have to tackle them head on.
Talking about how he plans to get the backed up supply chain also moving.
It's going to modernize our ports with $17 billion in investment. $17 billion in investment. We're going to reduce congestion.
This speech comes after Congress passed a $1 trillion infrastructure package designed to modernize airports, roadways, and shipping ports. And while the president frames the package as part of the recovery, there are warnings the higher prices are here for now.
There is no quick fix. I wish if there were a light switch that we could flick, we would do that.
It's also as inflation continues to skyrocket, from food to fuel ahead of the holiday season. The Labor Department announced October's consumer price index is 6.2% more than a year ago, and almost a full percentage point increase from September.
It doesn't matter what it is, everything is going up, and that's a tax. Whether you look at it that way or not, it's a tax.
But when will the higher prices go away? The chair of the Federal Reserve warned it could be well into next summer. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Veterans Day is tomorrow, but Newton County decided to honor our nation's heroes early. The county hosted an event at the county courthouse in Neosho. David Osborne served as guest speaker. He's a retired Army National Guard sergeant, also current county commissioner.
Just the statements that Harry S. Truman made are so true because he looked to that generation to lead our country in peace, to take our country further in peace. And we want to hold true to those values and continue on in peace at all costs.
All area veterans and their families were invited to attend today's event. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Charles Donahue served in the U.S. Marines from 1941 to 1949. He was stationed over at Pearl Harbor. And we are proud to thank and salute Staff Sergeant Charles Donahue, tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and a bit later, local student athletes signing to continue their careers at the college level on National Signing Day. Gonna have more in sports.
Join us.
It's crazy. We were just talking about the new pattern that we've been in since the third week of September. This is our 5th severe weather event, so this pattern is going to continue for the next year. So if you project this forward to the spring, we're really going to have a lot of severe weather once we get into March, April, May, and early June. But a pretty intense line has been pushing through southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and then now into southwestern parts of Missouri. And on the leading edge of this line, we have been getting winds kind of picking up in that 45, 50, upwards to 60 mile per hour range. And that's why there's been issued off a few severe thunderstorm warnings. This one till 9:45. So we're looking on the north side of Joplin, so mainly Carl Junction, Webb City, Carthage, pretty gusty winds, Oronogo in this area. And then here's Interstate 49. So the gust front is probably right at I-49. You can see this intense cell all the way up into southern parts of Barton County and then into Lamar, and then just kind of spotty once you get ahead of the main line. But the non-severe part continues once you get up into Barton County, so all the way up toward Nevada, and then pushing towards Stockton Lake. This continues south as well. So if we look on the southeast side of the city, so here's Diamond, Neosho right in the action, Granby over towards Stella. You will get into the action here in about 10 to 20 minutes. Let's go a little bit farther south. This is into western parts of McDonald County. So Goodman, Anderson, Pineville, another severe thunderstorm warning with this segment of the storm in northwestern parts of Arkansas in Benton County. Now, once you get behind this main line, so we're looking into Oklahoma, it's just, and also in southeastern Kansas, it's just good old showers and thunderstorms. It's that leading line, which is going to push east very quickly and out of here by the time we head into about, let's say midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So let's stop here. This is in about an hour and 15 minutes. Showers, thunderstorms, mainly on the Missouri and Arkansas side. Once we get to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, they're gone. Then we'll start to clear out later on tonight. Also, with this line, we're getting a cold front, so we're going to start to cool down quite a bit as we go through the next few days. Rainfall amounts, heaviest now is going to be on the Missouri side with the more intense line, but still a lot of areas picking up another 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain as this line continues to push through. The winds have calmed down. This is 7th and range line, so the strongest part of the storm is now on the east side of Joplin, but you can still see the rain out there. 56 showers, thunderstorms, humidity at 87%. You can see those gusts upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour. So this is a pretty intense storm system. It's going to quickly push off toward the east, and if you look out toward the west, there's not a whole bunch going on. That's our weather over the next few days. We do have some rain chances late tomorrow night into Friday morning, but besides that, we are looking much better. Sunshine returns for us tomorrow. Temperatures a little bit cooler. I think we're mainly going to hang out upper 50s to near 60 degrees, 59 by about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then as we go into tomorrow night, clouds increase once again. We're going to start to get a few showers in here, and this is with another cold front, which will cool us down even more by the time we head into Friday and Saturday. Thunderstorms next 2 to 3 hours. Then we're good. Severe threat only in southwestern parts of Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, you're in the clear. 59 tomorrow, 51 on Friday. The weekend looks pretty good, just kind of chilly.
So basically, as you were saying earlier, enjoy fall, enjoy winter, deal with spring when it gets here.
Spring's going to be a little rough around here.
Deal with spring when it gets here. All right, Doug Katie, thanks so much. Coming up, more fallout from a music event disaster.
The legal fallout continues following last week's deadly accident at the concert in Houston at Astro World. I'm Casey Stiegel. We've got the latest coming up.
Legal fallout continues to grow after last week's deadly Astro World Festival as more lawsuits are being filed. The event's security protocol did not have a protocol specifically in place for a possible crowd surge. Fox News senior correspondent Casey Stiegel explains.
Houston authorities continue their investigation into last week's deadly crowd crush at the Astro World Festival. Dozens of civil lawsuits have been filed by victims and their families, many of them against concert organizers and the show's headliner, Travis Scott.
We're in the process of being retained every day, every hour, and so it's an ongoing process that I think will continue to grow.
Multiple people were killed during last week's tragedy, others still fighting for their lives, including 9-year-old Ezra Blount. He was on his father's shoulders at the concert. His dad passed out as people began crushing each other, and Ezra fell to the ground.
His condition hasn't really changed. He still has the injured organs, heart, the liver, the lungs.
The event's operations plan included protocols for active shooters, bomb threats, and severe weather, but did not contain information on how to handle a crowd surge. Houston's fire department was reportedly turned away by concert organizers when they tried to do a safety inspection before the event. Organizers telling fire officials safety would be handled by a private firm.
It is about planning. It is about ensuring that we understand the best we can understand.
Houston police say they're also reviewing social media video from concert goers now as part of this investigation. That's the very latest from Dallas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
All right, next, a new place to really get those nerves going.
One of New York City's latest attractions isn't for the faint of heart. I'm Marianne Rafferty with more on how thrill seekers are conquering their fears and leaning off one of the tallest buildings in the Big Apple. Coming up.
Our house.
New York City is known as the Statue of Liberty and, of course, those tall skyscrapers. I'm from Chicago, so I know the skyscrapers in Chicago are better. Different story. But now, instead of just riding an elevator to the top of one of these high locations in New York City, you can actually hang off the side of one of these tall skyscrapers. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has an inside look at an adrenaline junkie's playground in the clouds.
Gate is open! Thrill seekers now have a new way of getting an adrenaline rush by harnessing up and scaling the side of a New York City skyscraper with the help from a city climb guide.
We are on top of 30 Hudson Yards in the middle of New York City, nearly 1,300 feet in the air. It's awesome.
But what's being called the world's highest external building climb involves more than just walking up a staircase towering over Manhattan. Once visitors get to the top of the platform, they have an opportunity to push themselves even further by leaning off the side.
We know it's safe, and if you trust in us and you trust in the equipment and you trust in our process, you will be very proud of what you can do.
It's like if you don't think about it, it doesn't feel that bad.
30 Hudson Yards is about less than 500 feet shorter than One World Trade Center, the tallest building in the Big Apple. And at these heights, the only noise rivaling the roaring gusts of wind are the victory yells from people conquering their fears.
We're also then going to have those people who really want to prove to themselves that they can overcome not only their fears or their hurdles. This is going to be a magnificent, life-changing experience for some people.
The City Climb Experience just opened this month and cost $185. The only things preventing operation are severe weather events and temperatures below 23 degrees. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
All right, the Chicago boy is pretty impressed with that New York skyline. Still wouldn't do that, though. All right, better be extra nice to Santa Claus this year because of fewer of them. There's a Santa shortage going on. Gonna learn why? Coronavirus is putting a squeeze on Santa this year. The Wall Street Journal reporting that there's a shortage of Santas. Workers who normally fill out this role, older, heavier set men. I mean, it is what it is, right? Older, heavier set men are opting out due to the risks of COVID exposure. Many also say they are afraid of potentially exposing younger, unvaccinated children to the virus. Now, the staffing agency Hire Santa says while there are 15% fewer professional St. Nics to play the part, there is a 121% increase in requests for Santas this year compared to last. This story reminds me of the movie Elf, right? You're not the real Santa. Thank goodness the real Santa is still going to do his thing this year. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
3 Pittsburgh State brothers are working alongside their professor to find better ways to treat cancer patients. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the progress they've made and how they hope it can help in the future.
Also going to visit Edna, Kansas, where things are getting back to normal after a mattress factory opened again after a devastating fire. A team of researchers at Pitt State working on a new way to treat cancer patients by changing the way that cancer-killing treatment is delivered to cells. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the research team, which includes 3 brothers and the professor, who are working on the next steps of this research.
Dr. Santi Santra has been doing research on new ways to deliver life-saving drugs to cancer patients' bodies for the last 7 years. He explains how this method differs from regular chemotherapy.
It goes everywhere in your body. So it goes to your tumor, it kills, but at the same time it goes to your healthy organ, like heart, lung, all this. So that we don't want. We want our anti-cancer drug to be delivered to the tumor only. That is the main purpose of the project.
His research team uses a polymer, a substance consisting of large molecules which plays an essential role in everyday life.
It's a polymer that you can wrap around these drugs, and we tag it with certain molecules, and that sends it directly to the cancer cells without harming other cells.
Dr. Santra does this with the help of Adam, Caleb, and Paul Worsley, 3 brothers at Pittsburgh State. Paul is the lead researcher for the project and says right now the team is focused on growing their own cancer cells to see how well their polymer kills those cells.
We'll make our polymer loaded with drugs, and then we'll put the little receptors on the polymer, and we'll grow our cancer cells and see how well it kills our cancer cells. And then based off those results, we can do more studies.
Paul's twin brothers are only freshmen, but have been working on this research since summer.
I get to come in every day while also learning, so I have experience. That's very helpful for us. I think it's good practice for my career. People in my family have cancer, and it'd be a wonderful thing if we could actually cure it.
In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KUAM News.
To learn more about the work that Dr. Santra and his students are currently working on, we have a link on our website. Again, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. If you are a customer of Joplin's wastewater system, prepare to pay more. The city is going to raise its rate by 5% starting on January 1st. A rate study conducted last year recommended this increase. The Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas celebrated all the grants they handed out this year. The foundation provides funds for charitable projects in Southeast Kansas. At their annual grant celebration, officials announced they handed out more than $232,000 in grants this year. An organization is trying to create more affordable transportation in Southwest Missouri. Healthy Nevada created the Rides to Health and Wealth Project, a volunteer-led transportation network. Officials say the goal of the project is to provide more transportation opportunities in rural areas. The Edna Mattress Factory in Edna, Kansas is open again. This after that happened. Fire destroyed the factory back in June. No one was hurt, thankfully, and the nearby retail facility was spared. Company president was miles away when he got the call that the factory was burning.
Super blessed. It's exciting, especially, from the beginning when you're thinking it may be all over, and next summer I will have been here 40 years. And, thinking all that just went up in smoke, but thank God it didn't.
Mattress Factory is a longtime fixture in Edna. Hildebrand says he's been there close to 40 years. Today, a U.S. delegation made a visit to the island of Taiwan, long a key strategic partner in the region. The move outraged the Chinese government, though, leading to their military holding exercises just miles away. Fox's Madeline Rivera explains.
The U.S. is keeping an eye on China's military growth as tensions rise between the two countries. Now the strained relationship is seeing more pressure after a group of U.S. congressional lawmakers visited Taiwan on a military plane, a trip the Department of Defense argues is not uncommon.
This is the second one this year alone.
It's not clear who traveled to Taiwan and how long the delegation plans to stay. But China is slamming the U.S., warning lawmakers not to collude with Taiwan over its independence. Its military forces are holding exercises near Taiwan in response. China sees Taiwan as its own territory to be annexed by military force if necessary.
The U.S. lawmakers' visit to Taiwan is a serious violation of the One China principle and the provisions of the three China-U.S. joint communiques. China is firmly opposed to that and has made a solemn complaint to the U.S.
The U.S. and Taiwan have a strong but informal relationship. The DoD maintains the U.S. remains committed to keeping the Taiwan Strait a peaceful region.
Nobody wants to see cross-strait tensions come to blows or come to a conflict, and there's no reason that it should.
President Biden is reportedly expected to meet virtually with Chinese President Xi Jinping next week, suggesting the country might be willing to work with the U.S. and cooperate more. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Let's take another look at our KOAM News News poll question. Tonight we asked you, would you consider leaving your employer if they implemented a vaccine mandate? So far, 58% of you say no, wouldn't. 42% of you say yeah, I would. Thanks everyone who voted. A bit later, a program pairing guitars with veterans, helping them to cope with PTSD.
Well, it's been a little bit on the wild side over the past couple hours. Showers, thunderstorms rolling through the region. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but majority of these have been just strong across the area. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, which you can see very evident on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. This is a live shot of what is going on out there right now in western parts of Newton County. Look at this line just kind of accelerating off toward the east. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, very electric storms, heavy amounts of rain. But again, most of these have stayed below that severe limit, but we have had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings popping up. I think in general, our severe weather is done for the evening, but still some pretty good storms. Let's go ahead and let's zoom into the metro. So here's Joplin over toward Baxter Springs, downstream Casino, Miami, up toward Pittsburgh, over toward Carthage, down toward Neosho. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning, northern Jasper, southern parts of Barton County. Not a big deal. This is going to expire here in about 5 minutes, and really any of the strongest part of the storm is out ahead of it. But we can track a little bit farther north. So over towards Stockton Lake, about ready to get into the action. And then we can drop down into Dade and Lawrence counties, and then over toward Mount Vernon. So here's I-44, Sarcoxie, Mount Vernon. You'll get into the action here in about 15 to 20 minutes. Let's go a little bit farther toward the south. So here's Newton County, here's McDonald County. Strongest now about ready to push into Aurora and also Monette, and just to the west of Cassville and Berry County, but still even behind the strongest parts of the storm. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, heavy amounts of rain. Here's 69 highway from Fort Scott, Pittsburgh. Once you get into our western counties, the rain's starting to taper off, so not a big deal. Let's go down into northeastern Oklahoma. Nothing severe, still heavy amounts of rain. Ottawa County, Delaware County, but also at the same time starting to wind down, and it's going to zoom right on out of here over the next couple hours. Here's 11 p.m. Any strong storms pretty much gone, just good old thunderstorms. And then after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, these are all gone. We'll start to clear out late tonight. We are seeing a cold front push through, so a little bit cooler as we go through the next few days. But by morning, we'll be clear. We'll be dropping back into the mid 40s for overnight lows. Additional rainfall, mainly southwestern parts of Missouri, another quarter to a half an inch of rain as the system continues to work on by. You can see the rain. 7th and range line, not coming down too heavy, just moderate showers and thunderstorms as this whole storm system is wrapping up. If we look out to the west, there's not a lot going on. We still have a couple weak little waves which are going to rotate through as we go into the weekend. That's going to cool us back down just a bit. For Thursday, plenty of sunshine, just a little bit cooler than what we have seen. 44 to start, 55 by noon, high temp right around 59 degrees. Some showers tomorrow night into Friday morning, but then looking pretty good into the weekend, just kind of cool. Highs into the 50s, kind of, you know, what it's supposed to be like in November.
I was going to say, this is crazy, man. Kind of, you know, with the strong, severe weather we have going on.
Yeah, we've had it several times this fall.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Doug, thanks so much, as always. Coming up in sports, going to head over to Girard, Webb City, and Joplin for National Signing Day. Also, Missouri Southern football preparing for Saturday's season finale against Washburn. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more after the break.
Today is National Signing Day for pretty much every sport except for Division I and Division II football. We have plenty of local signings today, but we will start in Girard with a pair of seniors signing to Pittsburgh State. Kinley Smith signs today to join the Pitt State track and field program. She will compete in the triple jump for the Gorillas. Olivia Cullen is headed to Pitt State to play volleyball. Cullen was a unanimous first-team all-conference selection this fall for the Trojans.
It just feels like home. It just feels like a great place to go to school, and I don't know if it's because I lived around here, which makes me like it more, but it's definitely a big factor, and nothing else felt right. It just felt where I needed to be.
And they have a really great track program, so I was super excited to receive an offer, and just going and seeing the campus and their facilities and everything pretty much solidified my decision.
To Webb City now. They always have a big signing day over there. 7 seniors signed today at Webb City High School, including Peyton Hawkins and Emma Welch. Both of them are all-state softball players for the Cardinals. Welch is headed to Labette Community College in southeast Kansas, while Hawkins will be a Missouri Southern Lion.
Yeah, like I said, it's a very winning program, so joining a winning program is always very awesome just because you get to step into that. They're expecting you to keep that going.
I would definitely like to start my freshman year. That's definitely a big goal for me. And honestly, just do my best. And, you know, maybe awards come here and there, but mostly just do my best.
Well, today also a big day for signings at Joplin High School. Joplin has 4 seniors signed today to continue their careers at the college level. And girls basketball player Emma Floyd signs this afternoon to play at William Woods University. Allie Lawrence will play 2 sports, signing for track and volleyball at the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. And we got a guy who's staying in town. Ethan Guilford signs today to play baseball with the hometown Missouri Southern Lions.
Just the energy that they play with year in and year out is just a team that I want to play for, a team that truly cares. And then, you know, with it being in Joplin, I don't have to go very far from my family, so having a good relationship with my family is also nice throughout college.
I really want to get into their program, really get stronger with their weightlifting program. Of course, play up with the big dogs, you know, but I'm just excited to get stronger and be a better athlete.
This week is the final week of the football season for the Missouri Southern Lions. Southern wraps up their schedule on Saturday, hitting the road to face Washburn. The Lions are 3-7 heading into the final game. Last week, they dropped their home finale to Northwest Missouri State 49-7. On the other side, Washburn is 8-2 and in second place in the MIAA. The Southern head coach Atiba Bradley says the message to his team in the final week, especially his seniors, is pretty simple.
Leave it all out there. I mean, you don't want to be that guy that's 40 years old talking to a group of high school kids, you know, back in my day, I could have done this or that. And, you know, this game is meant to be played a certain way with a lot of energy. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be passion-filled. And so play it like that, you know, play it like this is your last, because it is your last. And so should be pretty easy for those guys to do that.
Finally, Missouri Southern holds a dedication today for its new Rasmussen baseball and softball practice facility. The 6,500 square foot facility is named after Dick and April Rasmussen, recognizing them as lead gift support for the project. It was entirely funded by donors, including baseball and softball alumni and several other individuals and businesses. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
A nonprofit in Milwaukee is using guitars to help veterans cope with post-traumatic stress disorder. Fox's Sam Kramer shows us how a few chords and camaraderie provide some much-needed therapy.
You're on, baby. We got your beat going. So A.
When this group gathers around,
Here we go.
Everyone from teacher to student finds their tune.
It's opened up a whole new world for me.
After serving in Operation Enduring Freedom,
I found myself frustrated and disconnected from the world around me.
Scott Saveco was looking for guitar lessons for his son. Instead, he found harmony in circles like this. Free lessons from Guitars for Vets.
It's showing that we care. You know, we care about what they've been through. It takes a lot of focus.
Bill Brown is one of the nonprofit's volunteer instructors, teaching veterans to play the guitar.
Your mind is just, they're not thinking about PTSD, drugs, alcohol. They're in their own world trying to figure out these chords.
Since 2007, the nonprofit's opened 150 chapters nationwide,
There you go.
expanding its mission to help veterans like Aaron Gansenmuller find their purpose after service.
They say that music is healing, and that's something that I've definitely resonated with.
It's therapy to ease the transition from military to civilian life, where sometimes all they need is a little rhythm.
And it's one thing just to kind of sit and listen to music, listen to a song, but then it's something else to, take it into your hands and make something that is just an instrument that's quiet, sing.
With photojournalist John Upton, Sam Kramer, Fox 6 News.
Awesome story and good music too, man. All right, next, some stars talk about the new children's movie, Clifford the Big Red Dog. All right, first, I got to share a quick story with you. I just asked everyone here in the studio, did any of you guys read Clifford the Big Red Dog growing up as kids? And Doug was like, I think it wasn't around when I was little. What's up with that, man? Big book-to-screen adaptation bringing a new adventure for the whole family to the movies. And we have a preview with the cast of Clifford the Big Red Dog, K-9 stars included. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Look at you. Book to screen, Clifford the Big Red Dog stars Darby Camp as Emily Elizabeth and Jack Whitehall as Uncle Casey on a big adventure through the Big Apple with their 10-foot-tall pup.
We've never seen her as a real person in live action. And so I just felt so honored that I was chosen to play her.
The real change for me was being able to do a movie that my friends could take their children to.
Both are pet people. Jack even introduced his dog to Clifford.
You don't like it?
Yes, I hang around with other dogs.
So how's that going? Going a little better?
Yeah, not great. I mean, I sat little Coco, my Cavapoo, down for a premiere of the trailer, and she was not impressed at all. But hopefully when she sees the whole film, we'll win her back round.
You said you weren't looking for a pet.
John Cleese brings magic to the tale and shared what he feels makes a comedy work for the whole family.
I think if it's just about people's behavior and their emotions, kids can understand it very, very easily. If it's more about ideas or making jokes about society, then I think they have to be older. For example, they can watch my hotel program because, as I always say, it's really about who is frightened of whom, who's trying to impress whom. Whereas in Monty Python, it's more a comedy of ideas, and they haven't got familiar with the ideas yet.
Tony Hale adds, a joy of being part of a kid's story like this is its heart.
We in the world forget about those simple truths, something like Clifford, where you got this 10-foot red dog walking around the city. And it's all about celebrating differences.
And another big star has one more thing to add. Can you tell us when and where everyone can watch Clifford? In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
I'm excited for that movie. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with some fall foliage near Pittsburgh. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.